Hello folks, today we are in for a longish video where I rank 30 IEMs on the tier list maker thingy, featuring earphones from popular brands including Moondrop, Simgot, Truthear, 7Hz, Ziigaat, Kiwiears, Letshouer, Tangzu and a few more. Honestly, that is a lot. So let's start with the Truthear Zero Red. These are the updates to the original Truthear Zero and feature a 2 dynamic driver, a 7.8mm and a 10mm that is made from polyurethane suspension and a LCP dome diaphragm. There are clear divisions of labor here as the 10mm larger DD handles the bass while the smaller 7.8 is tweaked to better suit mid-range and treble. This is clearly a resin-built IEM that if you look beyond the simple nice face, this is clearly a resin-built IEM that if you look beyond the nice red faceplate, it's actually rather simple. The overall tone of the Project Red is that it sounds quite silky in texture. It is smooth yet with good texture that has a rather decent kick when bass comes in. Honestly, my rating for them is that they are good. Clearly, they are good. Next up, we have the Simgot EW200. Let me find where they are. Simgot EW200. Here they are. Built on the Simgot EW200 is simply just mega. Just holding them, they exude good build quality. Metal is used in the chassis and has a nice hard and solidness that screams quality. There is a small bit of unevenness in the chassis, but again, it is quite forgivable due to the price. It features a single dynamic driver for ultimate coherence. They do have a slight emphasis on the upper mids that for some people can be a niggling point, but for me personally, I do find them quite okay. So the EW200 has more body, by that I mean bass and low mids, compared to its younger brother, the EW100, which basically makes them sound girthier. It has a natural warm V-shaped signature that many will like and will find it really acceptable compared to some of their other releases such as the EA500. So my rating for this are that it is basically really impressive. I don't think many people will question that. Moving on, we have a collaboration model from EPZ and Tipsy, and this is the Star N1. So here they are. Now the Star N1, so my unit of Star N1 comes in black with the abalone shell faceplate, and really they are simply quite beautiful. Inside the chassis is a 10mm LCP plus PU liquid crystal titanium composite diaphragm, and housed with it is a double magnetic circuit acoustic structure. EPZ advertises that the acoustic chamber has a passive noise reduction chamber, so it really isolates quite well for a vented IEM. The Star N1 features a Harman tuning quite prominently that has a single DD tone. That is to say that this is a very cohesive sounding IEM. So where do they go? I think that they are really impressive, not gonna lie. Next up, the Tangzu Nezha. Nezha is basically a Chinese demigod that has mentions in folklore such as Journey to the West and Taoism. Growing up watching Journey to the West, to me, he is the guy who likes to fly around with his flaming wheels. Made from resin, Nezha isn't an IEM I'm willing to sit on them. They feel sturdy, but because it's resin, I won't really take the risk. And I don't think you should drop them all too much. Resin cracking is not a fun thing. The faceplate features some red foil underneath the design motif, which can be seen as an expression of fire that can be associated with the mythological Nezha. After all, he has those flaming wheels. Inside the earphones are 6 BA+1 EST. When it comes to tuning, Nezha takes an alternative approach to this by having a smoother, less excitable upper mid-range. It makes them very perfect for folks who like a more laid-back approach to listening. I would say that the Nezha leans warm, and by that extension, note weight should be thicker than what is common in 2023 or maybe in 2024. So on the whole, where would I put them? Honestly, the Nezha was the most impressive IEM for me that came from Tangzu. So yeah, I think they would definitely go here. They are really impressive. It's a little bit expensive, but for what they are, it offers a very fresh sound that is different from the usual harmonish, very, slightly warm harmonish tone that is very common. Okay, next up, let's talk about the Kiwiears Melody. Now, Planars have been popular of late, and Kiwiears wants a slice of the pie by introducing their very own The Melody. The first thing that caught my attention of The Melody is that there is a velvetiness to the chassis of The Melody. This is because it's basically 3D printed that has a rather simple post-processing feature, so it's not really glossy and shiny, it is just matte and velvety. Inside it is a 12mm planar driver, so The Melody has a rather distinct V-shaped signature that has quite a pronounced bass section that dips in mid-range and later rises again in the upper treble section. I do think that if you have experienced a V-shaped signature before, the one presented on The Melody is a little different due to its inherent planar coloration. The way it renders bass and treble is a little bit more linear compared to a dynamic driver. That is to say, for a V-shaped curve, if you're expecting more resonance from the bass section, the planar has a good amount of it, but not the levels of dynamics offered by a dynamic driver. So where do I put this? Honestly, I think the Kiwiears Melody, it's a very solid IEM. It definitely deserves to be in the good tier. I would put it slightly below the Project Red. Okay, so next up, we have the Tanchjim Kara. Where is it? Kara. Oh, here's the Kara. So this is the Tanchjim Kara. So the Kara basically is a 4BA plus 1 DD IEM. When it comes to sound, the Kara is a very safe sounding IEM. Some might say a little bit too safe. It does not really do anything wrong, but really it's just okay-ish. Many should find this tuning to be acceptable, but really quite boring. It has the now very commonplace Harman tuning or a variation of it. Vocals on the Kara is a bit more forward from the norm and great for people who really like hearing forward vocals. I do find the overall tone to be smooth, and perhaps this is a little bit detrimental to its overall tone. It's like noise reduction in Lightroom or any other photography software. It makes the overall sound smoother but eats away at fine details. Honestly, there are better options out there these days. So what I say, give them to colleagues, dude. They deserve to be given to colleagues, especially the ones that you do not like. Next up, let's talk about the Moondrop Blessing 3. Now the Moondrop Blessing 3 is the follow-up to the Blessing 2, this time around featuring 2 dynamic drivers and 4 balanced armatures. When it comes to sound, I would just say that these are in the ballpark of what everything is being released in 2023. I do find details good, but it's a very decent IEM and a good refresh to the Blessing 2. But I would say these are, well, alright, it's really expected. It's just basically basic Harman. It's okay. I don't think that they are outstanding or anything. They are just good. In fact, I'll just put them here in front of the melodies. Next up would be the Tangzu Changle. Now, where are the Changlers? Oh, here we go. So where do I begin with the Changle? These are a very affordable chibi that features 1 dynamic driver. In terms of tuning, Changle is a V-shaped IEM that basically has a slight elevated mid-bass and slightly recessed mid-range and okay-ish trebles. I do find them a little bit rough sounding after a while. I feel that Changle is an okay release from Tangzu. They fare very well when it comes to build quality. I do like the two-tone color of it being like silver and piss gold. I just like saying piss gold because it's funny. And anyways, where would I rate it? Again, these are not very inspiring. They're not great. They're okay. They work. I would give them to my colleagues. I don't think that they are great, but you know, maybe these are for less terrible colleagues. And moving on, we will talk about the GOATs. Since I already said it's a GOAT, you guys probably already know what IEM these are. Where are they? Here we go. So I'll just put it here. This is probably the best sounding sub $100 IEM out there today. The EA500LM is a metal chassis IEM that has a very good feel and heft to the touch. It is very pretty with the dark mirror finish on the body. Personally, I really like shiny things, so this is completely up my alley. The chassis feels premium, especially in its given price range compared to those, especially those that feel hollowy and plasticky. Inside the EA500LM is a brand new 10mm dynamic driver that has a lithium magnesium alloy composite diaphragm. The DD here also uses Simgot 2nd generation dual magnet dual cavity driver design as well. Also, they provide a gold nozzle, which is actually the chef's kiss. Basically, everybody collaborated with this and gave their input on what the EA500 should sound like. And yeah, so this is the result of that. So the EA500 has the very popular natural warm signature, but with details cranked up to a 10 when compared to competing products in the same price point. Honestly fantastic, and this will be the first IEM that is in the God tier. I think nobody will contest that. It's really amazing sounding, and I do need to say so because it's really great. Next up we have the Ziigaat Nuo. Where is it? Oh, there you go. So Ziigaat is a relatively new brand and they have two IMs so far. Firstly with the Nuo, which is the chifi option that features a LCP dynamic driver. I think for the price, the Nuo is a very good option to consider as they have a very cohesive sound that has good bass rumble with vocals that has good details in the $20 price range. You can't really fault that. So where do they go? I would say that they are good. So next up, we also have another one from Ziigaat. This is the Ciino. This time round, a 4BA plus 1 DD IEM. This features a twist on the usual Harman where treble is tamed quite a bit, resulting in a sweet, darkish sounding IEM, perfect for folks who find the current meta a little bit too bright. Good on Ziigaat by offering something rather different. I would rate this actually as really impressive actually. I'll put this here. Because it really offers you a different flavor in a world that is currently dominated by the natural warm sounding. Next up, we have the 7Hz Zero. So the original Zero was interesting because 7Hz dared to offer a neutral sounding earphone at $20, where folks usually cannot appreciate this sort of signature. Thankfully, it has a resolution to back it up. It features one single dynamic driver. These are pretty darn good, so they go here. They are pretty darn good. 7Hz also released the Zero II, which is more the same as the predecessor. It has the similar chassis and a brand new driver that delivers more meat in the music. The complaint in the original Zero was that there was not enough bass. I like how 7Hz listened to the customers and introduced more bass in the Gen 2 while preserving a lot of the goodness of the original. So again, you know, you can't really fall far from the original. It is good and it is certainly impressive. Now moving next would be the Simgot EW100. So the EW100s are the plastic versions of the EW200. They also feature a single dynamic driver inside but with a different tuning. The EW100s are a bit more neutral by comparison to the EW200, which has a bit more meat in the sound. But I don't think that the EW100 is as impressive as the EW200. For me, they are certainly good, but you know, the EW200 is better at a little bit more. So if you want to buy between the two, just get the EW200s. Moving on, we have the Kiwiears Quintet. The Quintet is a quad-bridge IEM. That is to say that it features 4 different driver types in its chassis. At the heart of bass lies a 10mm dynamic driver with a diamond-like coating. Layering on top of it are 2 nose balance armature that handles the mid-range, and a micro planner is used for treble. Lastly, the piezoelectric driver is used as a super tweeter. The Quintet is a very mild V-shape compared to what we have seen in the market these days. Tonally, they are what I would classify as a natural sounding rather than a more common natural warm sounding IEM. What you'll get with the Quintet is class-leading positioning and depth. They are again another god tier IEM. The Quintet really surprised me as a quad-bridge IEM. I kind of expected them to sound a little bit disjointed, but they did not sound disjointed. Moving on, we have the Tangzu Waner. So the Waner features a neutral warm signature for the most part, pretty well balanced and natural sounding. It does feature quite a good amount of details in the mid-range, but for the price, it does feature quite good detail in the mid-range for the price and is the highlight of the IEM. I can see what the engineer is going for here as the bulk of the tuning involves the vocals. This is clearly a very beginner-centric earphone. I'm really not a fan of the OKZ build quality on the Waner, so honestly I think that they are okay. They're alright. I wish they were built a little bit better. My own personal set, after using them for a day, they got scratched up quite badly. I treat all my earphones the same, I just throw them in my bag, so it's quite unfortunate. Moving on, we have the Moondrop Lan. So basically these are the Moondrop Chu with a removable cable. It features one DD that has a neutral signature that does not have enough resolution to back them up. I don't really like them. I found them really mediocre and I would just give them to your colleagues or my colleagues if they want them. And beside that, we also have the Moondrop Chu IIs. So these are a black Moondrop Chu with a harmonious tuning that has more bass compared to the original Lan or the original Chus. Resolution is again just okay. They are, I find, better than the Lan, so they are okay, I guess. And next we will talk about the Kiwiears Forteza. So the Kiwiears Forteza are a 2 dynamic driver IEM, one of which is a 10mm bass driver while the other is a 6mm mid-range driver. They are kind of placed together like a hamburger with a sound port to the side. Also paired with it is a single BA4 treble as well. I must say that the Kiwiears Forteza is a very dynamic sounding IEM. That is to say that you get a huge difference from the softer passages, from the louder passages. The only thing about them is that they are a little bit bright sounding and can be a bit much for some. So if you're using these, I suggest that you use a foam ear tip or use a smaller bore ear tip. And with that said, where do I rank them? I think that they are good sounding. So if you're watching movies, I think these are very exciting to listen to. So next we have the Simgot EA1000. Now the EA1000 comes in a very pretty mirror finish, and as you know, mirror finish is quite a hard thing to do simply because any finishing errors can be simply seen. I'm very happy to say that mine came in a pristine condition. Driver wise, the EA1000 has the 2nd generation dual magnet, dual chamber dynamic driver that Simgot uses. The diaphragm, although no mentions of what is being used, it's a very beautiful purple gold color that has superior rigidity and lightweightness. Now the EW1000 is a natural warm IEM. What sets it apart from others in the market is with such a tuning, the inclusion of a passive radiator. I found that this inclusion really changes up how bass is rendered. There is a very lifelike resonant sound that comes from it. Just makes bass texture very airy and a little bit more diffuse, and more importantly, very natural sounding. So these are again God tier IEMs. I really like them also. They are in my usual rotation. Next up, we have the Moondrop Aria 2. So these are the follow-up to the original Arias. The Aria 2 brings improvements on the original laid-back Aria by having a more exciting upper mids. It still features a single DD. Honestly, not too bad. The chassis is machined rather than cast like in the older model. These are certainly good IEMs. Next up, we have the Simgot EA500. Now, the original EA500 really put Simgot on the map. The EA500 is a technical beast in 2024, but the LM has the overall better tonality. I do find them a bit bright, but they kind of make up for it with its excellent resolution. These are damn good. So there you go. And next up would be the Tangzu Dufu. I refuse to call Dufu the name that Tangzu decided to name them because I do not know why they pander. Dufu is the correct Mandarin name anyways. So these are a 2BA plus 1 DD IEM. It features a V-shaped tuning that has the sub-bass tapering off rather quickly. The best part of it is that it comes with the Diviner's ear tips. Where would I rate them? Honestly, I think that they are really quite good. I like the Diviner's ear tip a lot. They also come with Sunshine, but you know, Sunshine is just alright, I guess. The Diviner's is golden. Moving on, we have the Truthear Nova. These are probably my favorite release from Truthear. They are a 4BA plus 1 DD IEM with a very pretty faceplate. The Nova has quite a full bass that is well balanced with the rest of the frequency range, and I found the bass to be tight and punchy with good control, but wish that it was just a hair more dynamic in tone. I really like these. When I reviewed them, it was quite easy because it was really enjoyable. These are God tier as well. Fantastic from Truthear. Next, moving on, we have the 7Hz Sonus. So this is a sub 100 offering from 7Hz with 1 DD plus 1 BA. The Sonus is a balanced IEM that has a good blend of bass that is mixed with exciting upper mids. Although I mentioned that the upper mids are exciting, but they never wandered off into the realm of harshness. Overall, a natural tonal weight is quite different from other recent releases that is a little bit thicker sounding. So these are actually pretty darn good. Pretty impressive actually. Contrasting with that would be the 7Hz Legato, featuring 2 dynamic drivers inside them. It's a lot of silly fun and brings back memories of boomboxes. These are certainly for bass hits. So these are again really darn good. It's a lot of boom boom fun. Next up is the Hola, featuring a very inoffensive sound. These are natural sounding IEMs that have a meaty voicing. Technicalities are in line with what you expect from other cheapies that it competes with. That said, with the price in mind, it offers good enough imaging and details. Really another cheap and cheerful IEM. So these are certainly good. I prefer them over the Simgot EW100s. Next up would be the EPZ G10s. Yeah, the EPZ G10s are something that I recently reviewed. So it's from EPZ, who recently have been storming the market with a lot of new stuff. So inside it is a 10mm dynamic driver. And the G10 is a natural warm IEM that is all the rage these days, and you can say they graph rather similarly to the Simgot EW200. And with that said, where do they rank? I think they deserve to be impressive as well. They are really quite good. There you go. And lastly is the Timeless. The Timeless is one of my favorite planar sounding irons. It has a V-shaped sound, but I think they did a very well balance between the bass and the treble. Again, it's very linear sounding because it's a planar, and yeah, I really do enjoy it. When it came out, it was like, to me, the best thing since sliced bread. Of course, there are newer things, but you know, in today, at its price, I still think that they are awesome. And lastly, we have the Letshouer S15. So the S15 is the update to the S12. It features a very well balanced and mature tuning with good bass. It resolves tracks rather well. Mid-range is also rather large as well. And honestly, I think the S15 is actually pretty impressive. And yeah. So yes, this is my ranking of 30 IEMs. It's a very, very long one. So let me know what are your personal favorite top 10s. If they don't appear here, please again don't be offended, because this is a very personal list. These are my favorites and they can differ from yours. But yeah, please share with me, what do you like, what are your favorite IEMs, and perhaps one day if I have the opportunity to check out, I would know what to expect. With that said, I hope to see you guys soon.